A sharp Neogrenfeld defense classical variation original defense signals an aggressive start in French Top 16 Club Championship 2025 a pool round 5, with Karthikeyan taking on Murzin. On d4. On d5. On c4. Threatening pawn takes d5. On c6 played by Murzin. This position is typical of Slav defense modern line. Knight f3. Knight f6. On g3. On g6. Bishop g2. Bishop g7. King castled kingside. King castled kingside. Knight c3. On takes c4. On e4. Bishop g4. On h3. Threatening pawn takes g4. Bishop takes f3 played by Murzin. Bishop takes f3. On e5. Threatening pawn takes d4. On takes e5 played by Karthikeyan. Knight fd7. Threatening knight takes e5. On e6 played by Karthikeyan. Threatening pawn takes d7. On takes e6 played by Murzin. Bishop e3. Knight e5. Threatening knight takes f3 check. Bishop e2 played by Karthikeyan. Knight a6. On f4. Karthikeyan is aiming to play. On takes e5. Rook takes f1 check. Bishop takes f1 and take decisive advantage. Knight d3 played by Murzin. Murzin's idea is to play. Knight takes b2. Queen takes d8. Rook takes d8 and seize the initiative. On e5 played by Karthikeyan. Knight c7 it is novelty move. On b3. Threatening pawn takes c4. Knight d5 played by Murzin. Knight takes d5. On takes d5. Queen c2. Threatening pawn takes c4. Queen d7 played by Murzin. Threatening queen takes h3. Bishop g4 played by Karthikeyan. Threatening bishop takes d7. Queen f7 played by Murzin. On takes c4. On takes c4. On e6. Threatening pawn takes f7 check. Queen e7 played by Murzin. Murzin is preparing to play. On b5. Rook a d1. On h5. On f5. On takes g4 and increase their advantage significantly. Queen takes c4 played by Karthikeyan. Bishop takes a1. Rook takes a1. Rook a d8. Rook b1. Rook d5. Murzin considers playing. On h5. Bishop f3. Knight e5. Queen takes d5. On takes d5 and take decisive advantage. On h4 played by Karthikeyan. On h5. Threatening pawn takes g4. Bishop h3 played by Karthikeyan. Rook f6. Rook b3. Knight c5 do not rush. Can you find the strongest move for Karthikeyan? Bishop takes c5 is logical continuation as Rook takes c5. Queen e2. Rook c1 check. King g2. Rook f8. Queen e4 position is equal. Let's go to the main variation. Threatening rook takes d3. Knight c5 played by Murzin. Threatening knight takes b3. Rook c3 is not the best move played by Karthikeyan. Threatening bishop takes c5. Knight takes e6 played by Murzin. Bishop g2. Rook d1 check. King h2. King h7. Bishop takes a7. Knight g7. Bishop c5. Threatening bishop takes e7. Queen e6 played by Murzin. Queen a4. Rook d2. Pause the video and find the best move for Karthikeyan. Rook f3 is logical continuation as Rook takes a2. Queen d1. Rook f5. Bishop b4. Rook d5. Queen f1. Still Karthikeyan is losing. Shifting to the main variation. Threatening queen takes d1. Rook d2 played by Murzin. Murzin is aiming to play Queen e2. Bishop f2. Queen takes f2 and dominate the board. Queen b3 is a major oversight played by Karthikeyan. Queen e2. Murzin claimed a well-earned victory.